These are 5 habits that I'm doing right now that have completely changed my music career and are changing my music career. They are regular habits that I've started about 2 years ago, and I wanted to make this video so they could help you maybe if you input these habits into your daily life. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're not even a singer-songwriter, maybe you just have a 9-to-5 job. In general, these 5 habits can make you, I think, more organized, calm, and hopefully with that more successful, more fulfilled. I'll input another buzzword there if you want, but these are 5 habits that are changing my music career. Number 1 would be setting long-term and short-term goals. I'm going to put this into the same one. Long-term goals at a 5-year level, short-term goals at an annual level, a monthly level, and weekly level. If you want to get anywhere, you need to be responsible for finishing goals, and you need to make those goals yourself. If you don't want to make those goals, talk to someone else who is in that area. Let's say you're a musician and you talk to another musician where you want to be. Ask them what their goals were at an annual level, or at that 5-year level. The flip side of not having any long-term or short-term goals is that you'll be aimlessly moving week to week and year to year, not knowing where you're aiming. You just really need to have an end target, an end plan of where you want to go. And sometimes it's easy just writing it out on paper. I want to play a show for 10,000 people. Okay, that's a very specific goal that you can then make some sub goals to get to that long-term end goal. That could be a 5-year end goal, because that's a big goal. 10,000 people in a stadium, that should be a 5-year, maybe even more long-term goal. And then you make sub goals on a yearly level all the way down to a weekly level to get to that end goal. So number 1 is set those long-term and short-term goals. The second habit is morning prioritization and schedule. You're going to want to wake up whatever time that is and start your workday with prioritizing what you want to do that day. You should be working around a schedule that you actually like to do. Your schedule doesn't have to be packed with so many things, but try to schedule the things you would like to do during that day. By the time you go to bed, you want to be a more productive person than when you woke up that morning. So schedule responsible things to get done during the day. But before you actually just start doing them, prioritize them and do the most difficult ones first and get them out of the way. It's so easy to have a to-do list, and then maybe some of your to-dos is like make bed or call this person. These are really easy to-dos. Do the hard things that are going to take the longest time first. If something is easy but has more impact, you can do those things well. I'm not going to get into like detailed ways of doing prioritizations. How I like to do it is doing the highest impact things that are usually the most difficult things first in the morning, and then as the day goes on, it just unrolls easier and easier because you're doing the hardest things first, and then later in the evening you should just be doing little easy things that are very high in dopamine on the reward, and then you go to bed a more productive person that day. Number 3 is chunking, which is a segue to prioritizing your to-do list based off number 1, which are your goals. Chunking means you should actually set big blocks of time to do things that have a good return on investment. So sometimes you can get into a day where you're just doing 1,000 things that take maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and you never really get deep into focus. You never actually are really using your brain because you're just posting on social media and you're doing things email, and like you're just doing reactive work all day. What I'm talking about here is chunking so you can do productive, proactive work, whether that's like sitting in front of the piano and writing a song for 3 hours, or practicing your guitar, or sitting down for 4 hours and working on a marketing campaign. This is type of work that you should be doing, maybe not every day, but at least chunks of time during the week. And I like to chunk my time on every task I do, whether that's songwriting, marketing, checking email. All my tasks are chunked and I have focused time, so I'm not going back and forth multitasking. This also depends if you are a good multitasker. I don't multitask. I don't know how to multitask. I'm not good at multitasking, so I don't do it as well. I do one thing at one time and I do it intensely for that chunk of time. Then I finish it and move on to the next thing. And I found that has huge paid dividends on those because you're focused for 4 hours and you get things done, other than just spending like the same amount of time going back and forth on things and never diving deep on anything. The fourth habit that is really changing my music career as an artist and entrepreneur is removing all doubt and negative thoughts. And this still happens regularly. You know, you compare yourself to someone else, you doubt your ability, and then you go spiral into this negative, just downward spiral of negative thoughts. And it just gets you into a bad mood and you don't want to be productive anymore. And what I've done to help me focus on that is just trying to literally, when those thoughts come up, remove them completely and then focus on something else. If you don't want to do anything else because you're just in a negative spiral, then start with the first step would be doing something easy to get you to the next step, was doing something a little bit harder. So maybe sometimes you have to reprioritize your to-do list on a daily level because you just started comparing yourself to someone on Instagram and you think you suck, and then you got a bad comment on your video, and then you got declined for a playlist, and then like downward spiral it goes, and then you don't want to do this anymore. Well, just kind of take a break, realize that that's not true. You might be in your head a little bit too much, and then take the first step of doing something a little easier on your to-do list, and then get back into things. The focus should be on just kind of moving forward instead of just wasting time thinking about those negative thoughts. Fifth and last habit that has really changed my music career, and probably the biggest one, is not doing it all yourself. Especially at the beginning, I was trying to do everything in the entire spectrum of building a business yourself. And really, you have to admit to yourself that you can't do everything and you're not good at everything to do everything. So you have to rely on other people. And this really comes down to building a network, maintaining that network, and then asking for help from others that can give you favors. And then you do favors in return. But the biggest thing is to not rely on yourself, to open up and build a network, because it really is about who you know as much as what you can do yourself. But get out there and meet people, be social. Sometimes I really especially feel like getting out there and networking doesn't really pay returns right away because you can't really physically see this kind of productive output on a social event, but maybe you meet someone at a social event 2 months later, they can give you a gig or introduce you someone to a label. That short-term return is really hard to see, but it's the long-term return on investment that you're looking for. These 5 habits are really changing my music career. What are some habits that you're doing that are changing your career as a musician or entrepreneur? Let me know in the comments so it can help other people, maybe inspire other people if they're in downward spirals or they don't know where to go. Please put it in a comment. And if you like videos about music marketing, entrepreneurship, and business, please feel free to subscribe, and hope to see you in the next video.